as you guys know, we're going to start our proof by writing down our givens. However, in this particular example, there's something I'm going to do first, and that's going to be to draw the two triangles separately. Especially when the two triangles overlap, it may be beneficial to draw them separately to see what we're looking at. There are pros and cons about doing this, as we'll see in this proof. So I've drawn the two triangles separately, and then I'm going to begin my proof by writing my givens. There are three things that I'm given. One segment is congruent to another one, WY and XZ are congruent, and then two segments are perpendicular to each other. Notice in the triangles I drew separately, I also added in those tick marks so that I could see it a little bit better. After we've written down our givens, I'm going to write down, or I'm going to add some tick marks to the diagram. I need good reasons to add what I'm adding. I've added a right angle tick mark in there, and I didn't do that because it looked like they were right angles. I did that because it was the definition of perpendicular lines. Segments Y or WZ and ZY were perpendicular. That was given to me. So I can add a right angle symbol where angle Z is, because that's what perpendicular lines do. Notice I did include three letters because even though in my separately drawn triangles angle Z is by itself, I need to refer back to that original diagram. If I just said angle Z, there's too many angles right there, so I needed three letters to do it. Okay, and at this point, here's where, let me just rewind this just a little bit. Here's where we sometimes run into problems. We have the right angle, we have that hypotenuse in there, but we don't have a third side. If I'm trying to use HL, which I have a right angle, I need a leg still, I need a third side. And in my separately drawn triangles, it's hard to see what's congruent. However, looking back at that original diagram, I can see that both triangles did overlap and they shared a side. And so actually I can add tick marks for that ZY side because of the reflexive property. Now that's what I was mentioning about the pros and cons of drawing the triangles separately. I wouldn't necessarily see the reflexive property unless I looked back at the original diagram. And so now taking a look at all the tick marks I have, I can see that yes, I in fact do have an example of HL. I've proven that I have right angles because of perpendicular lines. I've proven a hypotenuse and I've proven a leg are congruent to each other, so those two triangles are congruent by HL.